When I was faced with the decision of choosing between Harvard and Oxford College, that is when I realized this isn't about colleges. This is about choosing between two different educational philosophies. And I decided to go with Oxford for a bunch of reasons that we're going to explore in this video. But in the broader scope of things, we're going to explore the differences between the philosophy behind education in the US, as well as the philosophy behind education in the UK. My goal by the end of this video is that you're able to understand the subtle differences between these two different education systems. And if you're ever stuck as an international student deciding to choose whether you should study at Oxford or at Harvard, or whether you should study in the UK or in the US, irrespective of the college, this video is for you. The first thing that we're going to explore is the academic system, and this is one of the reasons why I chose Oxford College. Oxford is heavily academic. It relies on having a very structured approach to your education. So how this works is that if you're studying engineering, you only do engineering. That's all from year one up until you finish and you graduate, which is very different from the US or from Harvard. In the US, they follow a liberal arts system, which is essentially a system that allows you to explore different courses, different things. For example, you might be an engineering student, but you might take a class on dance, a class on music, a class on theater, and minor in music or minor in different little combinations. That is amazing for the US. But I decided to go with the UK because I wanted to really focus on my education and just do engineering, period. That is not to say you're not focusing on your education if you go to the US, but rather it's very different. The approach is different. The student that comes out of a US education system is more holistic, knows how to think, connects different ideas between different fields. But in Oxford, you'll be more specialized in that specific field, more honestly, I think, than having to explore different things outside of your own major. So that made me settle with Oxford because I believed I really wanted to just focus and specialize on engineering. The second thing, America, or Harvard in particular, focuses on a broader educational system, and they allow their students to explore. What do I mean by this? So when you get accepted in the university, they accept you as a person. Then once you're there, you can choose what you want to major in. They believe a human is very capable of picking any major and just excelling at it. In the UK, you apply to a specific major or program. So let's assume I want to be a medical doctor. I apply to be a medical doctor. I don't get on campus and then decide, I don't like medicine, I want to do engineering, then I do that. The moment I'm on campus, I do medicine. If I want to do engineering, for example, in my case, I knew I wanted to do engineering because I loved physics and math. I just decided to apply to Oxford under engineering alone. This is good for some students who really want to have a little bit of flexibility around their education. They don't really know what they want to study. Go to the US. Honestly, that's better for you. But if you really know what you want to study and you're very particular and keen on trying to excel at that, then go to Oxford. And I decided to go to Oxford or towards the UK education system because I really liked that philosophy that they had. Another subtle differences between Oxford and Harvard, not really common to most UK universities though, was the college system. So if you walk around Oxford, you're going to see a plethora of different colleges, more like 39 colleges. And imagine 39 liberal arts schools in the US. Those are just colleges under Oxford, right? So there's Jesus College, Magdalene, a lot of different colleges that fall under Oxford. This is good because you get a very small, tight community, even smaller than the US. Believe me, because if you're at a college where there are like 350 undergraduates and that's the whole college in Oxford, that's going to be amazing. You have access to all the libraries, all the resources, and it's going to be very easier for you to network and make friends. A con of attending Harvard, however, would have been that I have to attend Harvard College itself. The different houses, fine, but I'm just in Harvard College. There are mass lectures, there are a lot of students inside the college itself, and that's a very different structure than what you're going to get at Oxford, or what I was going to get if I attended Oxford. And because of that, I decided to go with Oxford. Another subtle difference between Oxford and Harvard was the tutorial system. Although I must admit, if you're choosing between US and UK, there are a lot of schools, not a lot. I think Williams College in the US also offers the tutorial system, but Shortly put, this is a system where you have one professor or one tutor, and they have to tutor 3 students or two um, individually every single week. So you can have like 3 tutorials per week, and that is the holy grail of Oxford education. You get personalized attention from an expert in their field. You get to criticize how they think and help. Of course, they're experts. You can never, you know, get away with just challenging how they think, but you get to explore the richness of the conversations that you get. You get to experience personalized attention and really just have a lot of fun in these tutorial systems. And you won't really find that at Harvard, right? Of course, they have TAs, they have office hours, but it's going to be a little bit different. Um, a key important difference is also the culture of the US and the culture of the UK. Oxford in particular is a bit ancient, a bit old, and they're a bit more formal. There are formal dinners, formal dressing. The libraries are beautiful and ancient, and I really liked that aspect of it. So if you're going towards the more scenic approach, the old vibes that Oxford offers, go with the UK. A lot of schools are actually very similar to Oxford, that old ancient feel, right? With Harvard, it was a bit more modern. Harvard is old, don't get me wrong, one of the oldest institutions in the US, but it wasn't as old as Oxford. So I decided to just, go with Oxford because of that. Another subtle little difference between these two systems is rather the impact or the networking that you would get, right? This was more of a personal choice. At Oxford, I had the opportunity of getting a scholarship that unlocked a lot of opportunities, which is the Ellison Institute of Technology, an amazing opportunity to research in agriculture and help improve access to agriculture across the world. So I had to choose that because I was getting access to research at a very young age than what I would have done if I'd gone to Harvard. This video is not me trying to convince you why Oxford is better, although I believe it is. But essentially, this video is trying to show you how these are two seemingly different institutions, and there were both pros and cons to this decision. But I just decided to, figure out where I had more pros and what university suited my own personality. And that's something you have to really consider as you're applying to college. Choose a college that's only unique to you, a college that caters for your own specific interests and values. Don't just choose a college because of career, because of money, because of prestige, because honestly, maybe the name Harvard is a bit more common in the US than the name Oxford. But you're going to realize that you have to choose an education system that's going to be more enjoyable for you. If you want to explore a little bit, go in the US. If you're more specialized and you really want to get down to what you want to study, go in the UK. This decision is, at the end of the day, all just personal. And I really hope this video was helpful in showing you how I was able to navigate this decision between these two different but amazing opportunities. And I was very, very humbled to be accepted by both institutions. I still can't believe it up until this day. And I just thought I should share that with you and hope that you can find some value from that.